guys, welcome to Random Chicas.
I'm Annabelle.
Kathy.
And I'm Hills.
Welcome to our channel once again. So you guys, the other day I got a bodaboda, like a motorbike, to go somewhere, and then the guy was acting so funny. It was so weird. I wanted him to stop me somewhere and the guy refused. Can you imagine? Like, how do you stop me from going where I'm going? Anyway, I told these guys about it and everyone had a weird story about public transport. I don't know if you guys have used public transport before. I guess majority of you have. And you may have different stories. So in this episode, we're going to share some of our exciting and weird, funny, horrible public transport experiences. Enjoy! I will begin. So, you know how when you use a taxi, the matatus where you're 14 passengers, there are times when you've just entered or before they set off, they ask for people with big money to like hand it over. Big notes, hand them over early so that they can find change. So I had my earphones on. I did not hear this announcement. When I was about to get to where I was going, I get my money and give it to the conductor, and that guy abused me, you guys. They're like serious. And those guys are quite abusive.
Those guys have all kinds of weird, random words, insults.
You don't want to be on their
the most painful. Like
those taxi conductors
are
terrible. Like, that experience has led to a lot of anxiety when I have big notes. Like I was like, oh my god, will they abuse me this time? I am always the first one to tell you, I have a big note, please have my money now. I do that. So what I do, like I make sure if I'm using public transport, those taxis, and I have big notes, like big amounts of money, I let the guy know, the conductor know before I board. No, like before I board, I tell the guy I'm going to town, I'm getting out here.
But I have a big note.
But I have a big note. Do you have change before I can board? Do you think people want to get change? If they can't, then I'll get out and look for another taxi.
I feel like
looking
for change is so traumatizing.
Yeah, it's very, very traumatizing.
And it's such a big deal.
It is.
I've been just out of a taxi because I had a big note.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What happened?
And the funny thing is, I remember I'd gone to town with my friends, my two friends. We'd gone to town, we'd been doing shopping. And you know how downtown shopping is. You walk and walk and walk. And we had like luggage this much. So we walk up, go to town, Pioneer Mall, get a taxi. And we sit. And we sat at the extreme back because we were three and you know it's for three. And we had luggage. So we sit, get ourselves comfortable. The taxi gets full. Then shortly before the guy started, because you know usually it's a different guy. The guy who is seated in the driver seat is not the one.
Is different from the one.
So just when the driver comes and the conductor was about, like we're about to set off, so my friend pulls out the note because we kept the money in one bag, and she gives the conductor. So I think you know those things of passing because you're at the back. By the time the money reached him, we had as if started moving. So the guy notices it's a 50 note. And then he looks at us. Then he's like, where do you think I'm going to get this change? And I'm like, in my head, like, but we've given it to you early. And they're petrol stations usually. Because their biggest problem is people don't give them money early. So like, we're the first people of getting money because we know we have a big note. And we're three. You know, if you had to get off money for one person, maybe. But he looked at us, like, where do you think I'm going to get change? Started making a big fuss out of it. So we're just like, oh, okay, this guy is going to make so much noise. And then he would just leave us alone for the change. I think like 2 minutes into the ride, he was like, but why am I stressing with these girls? He just told the guy, you know what? Let's get this chicks out.
He threw you out of the taxi.
Guys, first of all, we had such a hard day because we'd been in town the whole morning, walking up and down. I remember there was this chick in the taxi, like two chicks. We're like, are you seriously going to chase them out just because of that? They gave you the money early. I was like, me, I don't want stress of looking for change. If they don't have the exact amount, get out. And the funny thing, he wasn't joking. And the funny thing is, the driver, they drove back to the same spot where we entered from because we had moved about to take us and leave us exactly there. And he gave us our money. It's like, find another taxi that can find change.
Oh wow!
Guys were so annoyed. Do you know wanting to cry? I was like, that's
get another taxi though?
Yeah, we did. I remember we got a taxi. I don't remember if we got a mobile money and looked for change or if we got a taxi, but we got into another taxi and we were going. But the guy bounced us for real. No jokes.
Like, get out of my taxi.
Get out just because we didn't have change. Can you imagine?
So you guys, mine is about motorbikes, bodabodas. So this one time, I get a boda guy. You know, these random guys on the streets. I was just from shopping in town. It's always about shopping. I had so much luggage. I had to get home like so fast. I told the guy I need to be in, you know, my place, like this area. He tells me the amount of money. I was like, I even asked him, do you know what this place is? He's like, yeah. You know, they try to act so sharp.
Yeah, always.
So I sit. You guys, this guy was riding this bike. Like
he didn't to leave.
Like he wanted to, I don't know, die the next day. I had to. It was so fast. I remember telling him, please slow down. Like, I'm not comfortable with this. You know what he told me? Excuse me. You sat on this bike, well knowing you've entrusted your life in my hands.
But you're driving.
So I'm driving you. Like I'm
now in charge.
Yeah, I'm already riding and I'm in charge. Can you imagine? Like I told this guy, if you're not going to slow down,
Just let me
get off this boda. The guy refused. And you can't jump over moving point. And you know how I was seated. You know how you sit like
a guy?
Yeah, your legs
across the bike.
Yeah, across the bike.
I feel like it's hard to
I had
jump
so
over.
much luggage. You can't jump over. Why would you jump over?
You break your legs just because.
You guys,
Was it daytime?
Daytime. It was daytime. I was so angry. This guy refused to slow down. And then he was assuring me how he knows his bike. He assured me how I sat on that bike, so I have to bear with
him.
I have to bear with him. Since I told him where I was going, I should sit down, relax, and wait to reach my destination. Can you imagine?
The audacity.
Like the guy assured you.
I was so angry. I was so pissed. Like, I was really so angry, yeah? So next thing I see, he was taking a different route from the one that I did. So I asked him, I was like, you guys, I feel like you're taking the wrong route.
Yeah.
And then he assured me, excuse me, madam, you told me this place, right? So I know where I'm taking you. Can you guys? I was so angry. So I started crying with the guy. Like, it became too much. I was like, anyway, let me just
Keep quiet.
Because the route he took is quite long, but you can still get to where I was going. So I kept quiet, very angry, very pissed. So like a few minutes later, like I think I was almost about to reach where I was headed. This guy starts telling me, like, hey madam, so why are you quiet? So do you want to mean that you're so angry that I've annoyed you so much?
Oh God!
So annoying. And then I was responding, I was just so pissed and so done. I got to where I was going, very pissed off.
I can imagine.
Paid him off and just walked away. Like I didn't want to know. Like I was just so mad.
But again, that's so annoying. I think I've actually been on a border and the guy did something similar.
Yeah.
I was actually coming to see you. You know how usually when you get a border and you're going somewhere, if you want to make a stop along the way, it's okay. You talk to the guy and you're like, oh, maybe I need to stop at that shop and get something, or like you talk to him and it's okay. So I sit on this border and I tell the guy, this and this is where I'm going. Do you know the place? I direct him and he's like, yeah. So I sit on the border and I'm like, oh, by the way, along the way, I want to stop here and pick something. He's like, I'm not stopping. You're going to waste my time. I'm like, I want to be quick. I just want to pick something and we continue. It's on the way. He keeps quiet. And in my head, I'm like, maybe he's just being mean. But when we reach, he's going to stop. Because the man refused. I reached and I was like, oh, they're in front. And he passed properly. And it's like, Toja kumalira budi.
Whoa. As in literally to me,
like you're not going to waste my time.
What happened to
You
a customer is boss?
Border and you told me you were going here, so that's where I'm taking you, right?
Like he refused to stop. He was like, he told me this is where you're going and that's where we're going. Don't tell me you're stopping half. Yes, that was it. You guys, I've never been so bullied in my life. I was like,
Problems of looking like a child.
Those guys are such bullies.
But and now that I've talked about it, I think border guys are bullies. I remember this one border guy I was taking a border and I'd called this guy. I don't remember if I'd called him or For some reason, he's a border guy, I know. Something like that. So I get this border and I'm like, oh, this is where I'm going. And he had been buying some stuff. It was meat. I remember he had been buying meat. So I sit on my border, and when I sit, the guy's like, hold this. It was his meat. Like, hold this as I drive. I beg your pardon. He's like, yeah, it's going to distract me when I'm riding, so you hold it.
Did you hold it?
I did. Do you know how you can't believe someone is doing that to you? I was like,
So you went so
because
much shock.
at first I thought maybe he wants, I don't know. I was like, hey, let me first. Then he's like, now, Terera, sit with me. I'm like, okay, bear. He's like, hey, no, you hold it, because it's going to disturb.
boy.
He didn't even ask politely, but just like I was entitled to hold. Yes, I was like, this border man just bullied me, and I allowed. To carry his meat, I had to carry it. You know how you like, so in my head I was like, supposing like the meat, you know how sometimes meat, there's blood.
Yes.
I was like, supposing now this blood just starts dripping on me. It's not my meat. Like, you've not even asked me properly.
Oh god.
Funny. I can't.
So,
Yeah, guys can be bullies. I don't know if they've done that to anyone else, but can you imagine a guy?
I think
you.
I don't think very easy to bully.
Yeah, because I keep, you know how someone tells something.
I'll probably get another border, like, please. I'm not going to.
You know, I don't even know why I did. Like, I didn't even say anything. I was just like, pardon? And it's like, yeah, sit and carry the meat. And Bambi, I also kept quiet and carried it. Can you imagine? After that,
You're far too nice.
You're far too nice, Annabelle. Far too nice.
just no.
Please let us know if you're as nice as she is.
Yeah. Because we're not.
But please don't allow. Like, you'll be there dying of anger. And my head doesn't. Because now I think about it, I'm like, I had.
Was that the last border on the street?
I could have gotten another one. First of all, I'm paying. You haven't asked me properly. If you ask me properly, and you're like, oh, maybe I was just from buying this.
Do you remember that
Help
Uber
me
guy
hold.
that bullied you into giving him a tip? So I think you're easily bullied.
You're very easy
No,
to
by the way, that Uber guy.
Yeah.
The whole journey, like from the word go, when I entered the car, he was like, hey, hi, how are you? Richie? Now, it was actually during this whole lockdown thing, but after cars were released, the whole journey, this guy was telling me about a tip. From the beginning. He kept on
Like
saying,
you have to tip him.
yeah. Like indirectly, but first of all, he was being nice. Like, hey, hi, how are you? How was your day?
Was he from
How's
one of
this
those border hailing apps or just a normal border on the streets?
No,
No,
that
this
was
was
an
an
Uber.
Uber.
This
Oh,
was
an Uber.
Yeah,
I
it's
thought
an
about
Uber, right?
Okay.
Then he just kept saying, hey. So, like, you know, a conversation, things like, man, you know, now we're working, but times are hard. Maybe when clients give us, like, tips, you know how you'll say, maybe, I'm going to take you well, you reach, then you can give me a tip, or you can leave me with your balance. The whole journey was about how you can leave me with your change, or you can give me a tip. Clients who give us tips.
Are the best.
Wow.
Blessed.
But exactly, all those things. I reached, first of all, I was already annoyed in my head. I was like, if I'm going to give you a tip, I'm going to give you a tip. You don't have to remind me every after 2 seconds.
Beg for it.
Exactly. So when I reached my destination, sadly, I had no change. Because I was supposed to pay him 22k, so I gave him 25. Because I have no change.
back.
And the guy goes like, thank you so much. Thank you for the tip. I'll keep the change. Don't worry.
Don't worry.
I just said, okay, keep it. And I walked out. But with so much anger.
You're so easy to
Can you
bully.
imagine? But now imagine, if you keep losing all that money, like imagine
You're
every
so
day.
easy to
Because
bully.
I could have told him, no, just give him my. And I was like, the man, he's going to think I'm a bad person.
Who cares?
And does he know you?
Yet I'm the one losing.
Yeah.
Exactly. I remember
That's
this.
how you walk back home. Because
You know, because you don't have, because you gave out your money.
And I didn't give it out willingly.
Exactly.
You know, it's fine if you're giving out willingly. But this
Yeah.
man bullied me into giving it to him.
I remember I had a strange Uber ride. Yes, I don't know whether I should call this horrible or interesting or strange. But we had like a work dinner. I didn't have a car. And I was all dressed up. So of course I had to get an Uber. So I get my Uber guy, sat in the car, the guy tells me, oh my god, I really drive such smartly dressed ladies. Where are you headed to? So of course it was at Serena. Like, yeah, Serena Hotel. You can see the app. The app shows you where I'm going. It's like, wow, it's the first time I'm seeing this. What? So I had a rosary on. You know we are Catholic. So I had a rosary on, like those tiny ones. So he tells me, are you Catholic?
You're like, yeah.
I was like, yeah, I am. He's like, oh, okay. I can see what you're wearing in your neck. I was like, okay. So he starts telling me, why don't you believe in Jesus Christ? You guys, I froze. I was like,
Catholics believe in Jesus.
I was like, what do you mean? Excuse me? Yeah, he's the savior. He's the son of man. I don't know why you Catholics have refused to take up, like, to join the fight and the struggle. I don't know. You guys.
What fight?
Like, I don't even know what. Like, this was now going out of hand. I tried to tell him, can we not have this conversation? Like, I'm really not comfortable with these religions and what. I don't mind what you believe in.
Yeah.
Like, people have freedom of, I don't know,
Belief.
worship and belief in whatever they believe in. Like, that shouldn't be your business. That is my opinion. So the minute I told him that, it's like, my friend, that is the devil talking.
Oh God!
Such words can't come from such a smart, beautiful dressed girl like
Had
you.
to be the devil.
It had to be the devil. You know, you need to give it time and be born again. And you guys, I tried to tell this guy, I'm not comfortable with this topic. I'm not going to respond to anything. I'm not commenting. But it's like adding fire. What did I say? Fuel to the fire. Fuel to the fire. Like, the moment I tried to, you know, disengage myself from the conversation.
It's like you must be engaged.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The more he engaged and the more he talked. So just imagine throughout the journey, and there was so much traffic jam. I was just quiet, and the guy was just preaching to me.
I think I'll end the trip and get another one. Like,
Can you end it? It's the guy who has to end the trip.
yeah.
You know, that's
Like,
the way
okay,
I
he has to end the
I'm
trip.
stopping
But
here
the
now.
thing is, first of all, the way I was dressed, my dear,
Yeah,
I
you
can't be in the
couldn't get off
townhouse.
the
I can't be in Kampala. The way I was dressed.
too smart.
I
for
was
the
too smart for the streets.
I know.
I was too smart for the streets.
You're like, no,
Ah,
I'm
to
going to
die,
get-
that guy. I'm not judging anyone, but that was beyond me. I was like, you get. The minute I got where I was going, he started telling me how, you know, the usual, God bless you, may you find favor, may you do what.
Yeah.
Ah, you guys. I paid the guy and off I went. Like, phew, I'm done with that trip. So that's what happened to me, guys. My Uber guy.
Wow. Interesting.
I know.
Some choose to have like interesting conversations. Some
Remember
Draining
that guy that I ordered for you? Then when you got to your destination, he was giving you a different.
But I don't know why
price.
people do that sometimes. Like
price to
Uber
pay.
guys,
Yeah.
I've had a couple of Ubers that you order and they tell you the price estimate.
Yeah.
Then the guy calls and he's trying to get a higher price. I've had guys tell me, oh, but that price estimate is too little. If I come there, then you have to add me. And I'm like, but the app says this.
Yeah.
Why must I pay you more? And they're like, oh, the app has problems. Sometimes it calculates fewer kilometers. So you have to give me more money.
How can it sometimes calculate fewer and other
Sometimes
times
those guys are shady.
calculate right?
These guys are just shady.
And especially
Yeah.
when they know someone else ordered for you, because they know you're not going to have the phone to see.
Yeah.
So they're going to tell you like a random price.
As if you're not going to talk to the other person.
Guys, do better.
So you know how some of the most interesting conversations and annoying conversations are in public transport. For my case, it was on a bodaboda. You know how there is wind, you can barely hear, but this guy wants to tell you a story. Yeah. And usually I'm very irritated by the stories, but this guy's story was really funny. So he was like, the entire conversation took place in Uganda, so I'm not going to try and translate it back and forth. I'm just going to translate it to English.
Yeah.
So he was like, I want to tell you something and you tell me what you think about it. Like, I'm like, okay, cool. It's like, so I was at a funeral the other day and this lady had lost her dad. And you know how at the end of the funeral, when people have drunk alcohol and you know, the music is nice, people get up and dance. So the lady's husband danced so much. Can you imagine? So he danced, so now the wife was annoyed with him. How do you dance at my dad's funeral? What? Like, so now she's really pissed at him. He hasn't gone back home and he doesn't know what to do. So after telling me all this, he's like, anyway, the truth is, it wasn't my friend, it was me. Now, I'm hiding from my wife. Like, I don't know what to do. I haven't called her.
So
I know,
this guy was telling you
Yeah,
a
it was
story
telling-
about his friend.
but it was actually him.
Him.
Yes, like, no, I don't know what to do. I'm thinking of maybe I switch off my phone, I go to the village for like a month, then I come back. And how is that your solution? Like, you're going to go and run away from this problem for a month and then come back
and it should be
and
over.
will they
Just like that.
forgive you? Like be serious. So of course I told him, you can't do that. Like, call her, apologize, and she'll get over it eventually. I'm sure she's like very mad at you, like,
I know.
but you
What
cannot
was he
hide.
staying in all this mix? I mean, since
I have
was
no
now your
idea.
friend, confiding in you.
He didn't tell me that much, but it was hilarious.
Did you advise him?
Yeah, I told him to call the wife, apologize, you know, she'll come around, but if you hide, she's probably going to be even more angry. Yeah.
You probably can, and all your things are being thrown.
Oh my God.
I know, right?
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I just remembered, guys, this one time I was in a taxi. This was a long time ago in my, like, before I gave birth and I was still so skinny. So I was in a taxi seated, I was dressed up in my leggings and a dress top, my bags. So I was seated next to two women. So these women start talking about me in Irunyanko. Like, that's literally our local language.
Yeah.
I think they thought,
You didn't know it?
I don't know, maybe, you know how you talk about someone in a
Yeah.
language that you think
They
They don't
don't
know.
know.
Yeah.
So they were talking about how skinny I was. Like, oh my God, look at this skinny girl. Like, oh my God, these Kampala girls. And they're so skinny. And then see how the outfits they wear. And then how do you wear leggings? See how tiny her thigh is. Like, see how it's like she doesn't eat. Oh my God. If my daughter turned out to look this small, I don't know what I'll do. Like, you guys,
All
like,
these things.
I wish I could translate them, like,
Yeah.
Because they sound so
local
much
speak.
better.
They
in
sound so much better
Runyankole,
in
yes.
the local dialect, but
Much more insulting. not
much more
better.
Insulting.
much more insulting. Anywho, so you guys, I was so angry. Like, I was boiling because I could not respond. So what I did, called my sister. Called her. She picked up, and I made sure I spoke in the same language.
Language for them to know.
And this is how I started
Queen of
preaching.
pettiness.
I know, I'm so petty, like I have to get you.
Uh-huh.
So I tell my sister, Brit, I was like, you girl, guess what? You know, I'm using the same language now. I was like, guess what? She's like, what? You know where I am? She's like, where? I'm in a taxi right now, seated next to two women who are talking about me. They're commenting about my looks, they're commenting about my size, they're commenting about my outfit, they're commenting about you guys. I said all this while looking at them. That's how
the
petty
look on
I
their
am.
faces.
These women were horrified. Like, no, you could see they were so freaked out.
So
you know, they were
ashamed.
just next to me. They were so ashamed.
Something
Like, I think they
right.
were praying for the ground to open and just swallow them up.
Yeah.
But serves them right.
It
They
does.
were too embarrassed. I don't think they had reached their destination, but they were like, Masa, or like, taxi, stop there.
This is where we're getting our
This
friends.
is where we're getting out. And before they walk out, remember in taxis, you have to first get up. You the first person.
Yeah.
Let
Go
them
out,
pass,
Let
yeah.
them pass. So once they were done, like once they got out, I told them, have a nice day, ladies, in our language. I entered back the taxi just to show them I know what you are
So
saying.
petty.
And I'm so
Oh,
petty.
yeah.
Yeah, the queen of petty, my friend.
I think sometimes you just.
I don't think I'm petty
Yeah,
anymore,
I think
but I had
sometimes
to.
you
I had
need
to. I can't let you, frustrate me like that.
I have just remembered a public transport, like, oh my gosh, how could I forget this? When we were going to Chigali.
Yeah.
No, actually, when I come back from Chigali, and then we had.
The time we used the bus.
Yeah, just a bus, and we had booked these seats that were next to each other.
Yeah.
And then we come to
Yes.
the
No,
bus.
I think they give you a paper that
Yes.
has the shape, like
The bus.
like an what is it
seating-
called? The sitting arrangement
Yes.
and the
Yeah.
numbers.
So you
choose.
choose.
Yeah. Now the bus that came
Was
was
different.
numbered differently, so we were here that
Imagine.
side and that side, and you guys, we really don't like sitting with strangers.
I know.
And the
For
bus,
such long journeys.
yeah, for such long, like you want to converse the entire journey,
I mean,
So-
if you're a group of like 4,
Mm.
why are you sitting with strangers? You
Yeah.
can sit with
Yeah.
and it was going to be hard to like switch people around. but the back seats were empty. These back seats were on the tire.
Oh my
So we go and
yeah.
sit there, you guys. That was the most
The
uncomfortable
worst
journey
ride.
of my life. But we would still rather sit on the tire than sit with strangers for a 10-hour ride. Yeah.
Can you imagine? We opted to sit at
Meanwhile, you can't sleep, you guys. You sleep, you feel every hump. Wow.
But isn't there something they can do?
Yeah, I think
There's
there should
something.
be.
There
Because
should
you
be
feel
something.
every bump, every movement,
Every hump,
everything.
everything. I think the buses are old too.
Yeah, maybe they are old. Maybe newer models are more comfortable.
I guess so.
But wasn't that like a newer model? I don't remember.
I don't think so.
I don't remember, but that's the most uncomfortable
So
seat.
probably a
ever.
newer number plate.
That's not a new one.
Newer number.
Maybe.
Oh god, that's so
Yeah.
funny.
But a taxi. Oh, is a taxi like that too?
I don't
Yeah,
think it's as uncomfortable as a
A
bus.
taxi is not that uncomfortable because first of all it's a short ride.
Yeah.
In most cases taxis
Oh,
are doing
yeah.
short rides. So
Mm.
you don't really feel that impact.
yeah,
But a
as
10-hour
much.
journey, my friend,
I've just
you will
remembered
feel
being in a
it.
taxi and feeling the humps. Yeah.
So imagine if you had to sit in it for like 10 hours.
Mm.
It would really get to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a taxi, the only humps that really annoy, you know those tiny humps that are like.
Yeah. And you know how those guys drive those taxis?
Yes.
They don't give a damn. They'll just go
Oh.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it for
For
today.
our
today.
You guys can share with us your
Your
Public
public transport. Taxis.
good, bad
Boda bodas.
experiences.
Good, bad experiences in the comment section.
I hope you guys enjoyed
I know
this.
if you did.
Bye.
See you next time.